I've always wanted to make this video because I think my idea of a dream desk is different from everyone else's. Over the years, I've tried many things and eventually worked out a formula that works for me. So here comes the dream desk, Weiner style. The centerpiece of my desk is this 16-inch MacBook Pro. Some of you who watch this channel for a long time might recognize that it's the M1 Pro model from back in the days. I still use other MacBooks that I talk about quite often. I'm just holding on to this one, mainly because I got used to it. It's a workhorse that does its job well even today, and its bigger screen is perfect for work. 16 inches is enough for anything I do on a MacBook. It's enough for video editing, working with documents, editing thumbnails, etc. If you want to see my ultimate long-term review of this MacBook, let me know down below. I usually keep my Mac placed on this rather simple laptop stand. Really, it's just the most generic one from Amazon. It's made out of aluminum, which makes it really light and sturdy, and it's really easy to carry around, so if I ever need to move my studio, this stand comes with me. I will leave a link in the description for you in case you're interested.
Unusual setup you got.
Yes, Emmanuel, that's true. I think my approach to building a dream desk setup is quite different from everyone else's. For most people, their dream desk setup is super aesthetic and often really expensive, but my desk is a part of my channel, my studio, and it has to be somewhat flexible and preferably as minimalist as possible. I like it clean. The least interesting part of my dream desk is the desk itself. It is a really simple and very minimalist table with a black metal frame and wooden top. I like this table for its simplicity. It's the most basic and simple table you could find. But for me, it's basically perfect. Perfect size. The chance of it getting colored is almost zero in my case. I had a very similar table in one of my first proper studios and found this type of table to be really convenient for studios. That looks great on camera, and the way the table is built makes it easy to move around without having to redo cable management and so on. Well, of course, I have tried standing desks that change height and had one of those in another studio after the previous one, and the fact that it was able to change its height I think is an advantage, and in the future I would really love to test a more advanced flexible desk, but right now this simple one is doing its job just fine. And also, I'm not a huge fan of working while standing. When I'm sitting, I'm getting more things done.
Same for me.
It's easier to focus if I'm sitting, but that's not the point anyway. Another part of my desk that I can't live without is this desk mat from Logitech. It's not the biggest that I could get, but for my desk and my needs, it's perfect. It's wide enough to comfortably fit on the table and long enough for me to have a ton of room for a mouse. I chose mine in this simple gray color, which I think matches my laptop and laptop stand perfectly, and the wall behind, of course. It's a really nice mat. It has a good texture and is spill resistant, which is important since I often drink tea and coffee at my desk. And probably the best part about it is that it's really affordable. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon. Unlike those 150 bucks mouse mats, if anything happens to this one, I can just buy another one without making a huge dent in my budget. I will leave a link in the description to this one. It's really worth picking up. So this desk is perfect for work and for learning, and for that I like to use Skillshare, the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. From marketing and business analytics to productivity, web development, freelancing, and more, you can find classes that will match your goals and interests. For example, for me, it can be hard sometimes to force myself to work. So to fight that, I've been doing a learning path called Creative Productivity with interesting lessons from gurus like Esteban Guest, Rich Armstrong, and Ali's really fun to learn. There are really a ton of classes and learning paths to choose from, and Skillshare is ad-free, so you can stay in the zone while you're exploring new skills. New premium classes launched each week, so there's always something new to discover. The entire catalog is available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. The first 500 people to use the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial, so consider joining Skillshare using the link in the description below. You might have also noticed that I'm not using the Magic Mouse. I find Apple's mouse far too small and inconvenient for me, so I chose this Logitech MX Master 3S instead. To me, this is by far the best mouse out there. It's reasonably big and seems to be molded specifically for my hand. It's quiet, really quiet. All the buttons are designed in such a way that clicks are almost completely silent. Same goes for the scrolling, which is rather surprising. And I also like that it's super sensitive. I can use it on almost any surface, whether it's a desk mat, wood, or glass. There were a few times when this feature came in handy. However, using this mouse does make me lose one big selling point of the Apple's Magic Mouse: buttery smooth inertia scrolling. I don't care about it all that much and wouldn't trade comforts for scrolling. As for the keyboard, I use Apple's Magic Keyboard. There isn't that much to say about it. Really nice looking, really comfortable to type on. Touch ID, probably the main reason I chose this keyboard is the seamless integration with Apple Silicon Macs. I can surely live without Touch ID, but then I'd have to use the one on the MacBook. And again, I do love Apple's keyboards because of the key travel, feedback, and overall dimensions. Often when working, I have my iPad Pro on the desk, either as a secondary wireless screen or as a separate display. This is the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is almost the size of the MacBook Air, making it a great companion for the MacBook. Great screen, super easy wireless connectivity, and almost zero delay. The height difference is real in my case, and to look at the iPad, I have to move my head. But hey, better than nothing. And when not in the second display mode, I can just put on my favorite shows or music on the iPad just to make working a bit more exciting. In previous studios, I used to use only my laptop, and that was minimalistic, but not really that convenient. Back then, I did a lot of editing every day, and having one display was a bit odd, but now I do less editing, so there is no point in the second big display. But if I was to buy a display now, I would have chosen something like Studio Display or Samsung M8, but that's a topic for another video. All this tech on the table is usually powered by this 300-watt Ugreen Nexo charger. I've been using it for quite some time now, and it's been a real pleasure. 300 watts is enough for everything I might ever need, and all that with high quality, surge protection, GaN technology, and ability to charge up to 5 devices at once. It's perfect for charging my Mac, the iPad, iPhone, and everything else, but it's not a small charger, and on the desk it's quite noticeable, but I don't really mind. I put mine on the furthest corner from me and don't really look at it. Maybe in the future I will tape it under the desk somewhere. I don't know. Now you might say, where are your headphones? Everyone who does Dream Desk videos has big headphones with a special headphone holder, and here they are. AirPods Pro 2. I have a long-term review on the channel, so be sure to check it out before buying. I use them every day and don't really feel the need for anything else. Plus, they're super small, keeping the desk almost empty. What can I say? I like empty and clean desks, so a pair of something like AirPods Max would definitely look less clean. What most reviewers tend to ignore is the chair, and here, once again, my choice is pretty unusual. My chair is from Xiaomi, and I chose this chair for a reason. One, it's really comfortable. I can adjust it however I like. It has great lumbar support and is really well made. And it's quite affordable for ergonomic chairs. It's not Herman Miller in terms of comforts, but it's not $1,800 a piece. So I think I struck a perfect balance right there. Also, I like to stick my RGB stick to the table to add a bit of ambient lighting. It's a little aesthetic touch, but things like this make the whole thing look nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thanks, Manuel. Now, not really a direct part of the desk, but I also have a little storage unit on the left side of the table. It has a couple of compartments with an opening top cover, and I use it to store all the things I use rarely. Cables, hubs, all that stuff. I can't remember the brand, but if I do while editing, I will put the link in the description. Many people think that the Dream Desk is only the stuff on the desk, but for me, it's the whole thing, it's the workflow. And the NAS server is definitely a part of it. Mine is made by Synology, and it has 4 slots for hard drives. I use these Seagate 14TB hard drives, by the way. It's a really good server, reliable and easy to connect to. For the past couple months that I've been using it, I've been nothing but but happy. It's so much easier to store and share files now. And to make it even better and more reliable, I also installed a UPC power supply, 750 watts, and now if the power goes out, the server will still work for some time, keeping the files intact. Before this NAS server, I used to use DAS, which is basically an offline bay for hard drives. It can only be connected to one device, which now would be a deal breaker for me. Again, this is just another piece of this big machine that I call my dream desk. I'll admit, to some people, my desk would seem not aesthetic enough or impractical, but hey, that's my desk and my video. I like it this way. Maybe in the future, I will have one huge widescreen monitor instead of a laptop on a stand. Who knows? But right now, this setup is perfect for me. And if you want to know what iPhone accessories I use, we've made a video recently exactly about that. So be sure to watch it. Be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace out.